Hello and welcome back to Stage Door Stories. We've got so much to get through today, so let's get to it. Today we are talking the West End, which is arguably the home of theatre in the world. And I recently travelled to London to re-rehearse for a show that I was doing. And while I was there, I got to see a whole bunch of amazing shows. So today, I'm going to take you through them all. The first show, I saw The Book of Mormon. Yes, the first show I went to see in London was indeed The Book of Mormon. I saw it on the 7th of October at 7:30. I sat in the upper circle in row F. Fantastic show. Unbelievably funny, very rude, very crass, very out there, not for someone who is easily offended, but extremely hilarious, fantastic show. And this show has just opened in Melbourne, Australia. Go and see it. I know the show's gonna be absolutely fantastic and it's getting some rave reviews already. Go and see it. The second show I went to see in London was Jersey Boys. Fantastic show, jukebox musical with the music from Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It was an absolute hoot. Okay, that's enough. The third show I saw in London was Murder Ballad. It's a little less known. It's a one-act, sung-through rock pop musical, and I went to see it because one of my favourite actors, Ramin Karimloo, was in it, and he was absolutely fantastic, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him after the show. We talked about Les Mis, we talked about Murder Ballad and what he was up to, and he told me he was going to be working on Anastasia, which is a new Broadway musical that's coming to Broadway very, very soon. So look out for that one. Hopefully it's going to take the world by storm. Number 4 was In the Heights. This was one of my favourite shows that I saw over in London. It's so different, it's out there, it's edgy. Basically, it follows a group of Hispanic and ethnic people in Queens, in America, and it follows their story about being in the Heights. The set was really cool. The King's Cross Theatre, which is actually an old train platform with the platform on either side and the train track in the middle. The train track's been converted to a stage. The audience sits on either side and the performance is happening in between you. You can see straight through to another audience on the other side. I sat in the second row for that one. It blew me away. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, you'll love it. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. Show number 5, The Phantom of the Opera. You can't go to the West End without seeing this show. It's one of the longest running shows there. It's a classic, it's amazing, and from what I've heard, it hasn't changed too much since it opened. It's very much the original show. I got very lucky. I sat in row C, the third row. The sound of the orchestra was amazing, having stuff happening right above you, and the chandelier nearly falling on your head. Show number 6 was a fantastic one. It was Ragtime. I went and saw Ragtime because a friend of mine, Earl Carpenter, who was our Javert throughout our Asian section of our international tour, he was in Ragtime playing father. He was absolutely brilliant. The show was amazing. It was an actor muso, so the characters would occasionally use instruments to tell their story. Set was amazing and the performances were absolutely stunning. Highlight for me would have to be just before the end of Act 1, the song Till We Reach That Day. If you haven't heard it, go and look it up. Till We Reach That Day from Ragtime. Awesome song. Show number 7 was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. A play, a very, very, very good play. The idea with this play was minimal set, minimal props, but just great acting, elements of physical theatre and effective use of lighting to tell the story. It's a fantastic book. I thought the show was even better. How they put it on stage was just visually stunning, and the actors who were in it were absolutely amazing. It was at the Shaftesbury Theatre and I think it's still there, so get along and see it if you can. Show number 8 was, of course, Les Miserables. I couldn't have gone to London without seeing the original production of the show that I was doing at the time. It was an absolute stellar night, and you can see why it's the longest running musical in the world. show number 9, but I actually count show number 9 as 2, so technically this is show number 9, and show number 10 was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It was so good. It was possibly the best thing I've ever seen. It was so hard to get tickets, but it was totally worth it. Every week they release a bunch of tickets online, and you've got to be first in, best dressed, and it's really a lottery. It's luck of the draw. This show was absolutely amazing. Now, they've got this whole thing about, you know, keep the secrets and don't tell anyone what the show's about, but you guys don't want that, right? So I'm going to let you in on a few of the secrets. One of the biggest secrets of the show is that, could you believe that? Who would see that coming? Anyway, all the secrets aside, don't tell anyone I told you. But unfortunately, I have to keep the secrets. They even give you a badge, so that when people ask you about the show, you can be like, sorry, gotta keep the secrets. So that's a bit about the shows that I saw in London. I did a whole bunch of other touristy stuff too. Like I went to the Tower of London, and I took a trip over to Wales while I was there to catch up with a few of my castmates. But more on that later. This week, I do have some exciting news though. In the next week, I've got 2 auditions coming up. One's for a television series and one's for a musical. And I'm gonna bring my camera with me and take you guys along for the ride. So I'll see you then.